of this next panel, Mr. Damon Lindelof.
What is up? Hey, Hall H, how you doing? Welcome to the 20th Century Fox Bar Mitzvah. Thank you for all of you who did not go to the Game of Thrones panel. We might actually have a real knight making an appearance here for your vigilance, so we're enormously grateful. I've been coming to the con since the mid-90s, and I waited in line, like much of you did, to get into this room and others like it. And although it's pretty awesome to be up here presenting to you guys, I just want you to know that my heart and soul are still in the audience, and I will try to present this to you in the way that I would want to present it to me as a fanboy. And to kick it off, I think, would any of you guys like to talk a little bit about Prometheus? Alright, so I was driving in my car about a year ago, and my phone rang, and a voice on the other end of it said, Ridley Scott is going to call you in 5 minutes. Are you available? And after crashing my car and dealing with the immediate aftermath of that, my phone rang, and I started talking to Ridley Scott, who did call me. He said that he wanted to send me a script and to tell him what I thought of it, which was a pretty trippy experience. And as he's talking to me, I just keep thinking, oh my God, it's fucking Ridley Scott. He's talking to me right now. I have to pay attention to what he's saying. And I read that script, and at the time, I think the big $64,000 question is this an Alien prequel? That was the beginning of a process with Ridley, a long and awesome process where I actually sat across the table from this guy whose movies completely and totally influenced me, and I ripped off liberally and often to work together to make this very cool movie. And so I feel enormously proud. We're still a year out from you guys seeing it, but I do feel that since everybody came to this room, that it's worth showing you a little something. Just a little something. We're still in production, but you guys are now about to see the first footage of Prometheus. So without further ado, let's show it. Thank you so much for that, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the movie now with someone who is considerably better looking than I am. Oscar winner, Charlize Theron. Welcome to Hall H. Charlize, can you just talk a little bit about how you got involved in Prometheus, how the story began?
I was offered a tremendous amount of money, and I said, sure. No, in all seriousnness, I really do believe that for all actors there is the one, the mighty, the kind of say-all, be-all that you kind of dream to work with, and that for me was Ridley Scott. And so I kind of went through my career always secretly kind of hoping and praying that that would happen. I got to know Ridley on socially, and I knew he was doing this film, but I was supposed to ship off to Australia to go and do Mad Max. So I never really thought that there was ever a possibility that I could do it, and then that film pushed, and I was actually in Malaysia, and I got this call, and it was Ridley saying, I heard your movie pushed, do you want to come and do this? And I said, yeah, I want to come and do this with you. And then I read the script, and to be honest, I felt like it was not quite to its potential, and so I started this incredible journey with you and with Ridley, and we kind of worked together for a couple of weeks, and I was really pleased with what we came up with, and so I was really excited to be a part of it.
I noticed in the footage that we showed, there was a shot of you seemingly doing naked push-ups, and I just want to say that I find it disgusting and exploitative, and it's clearly pandering to this crowd, and yeah. If you really think that that's going to convince us to go and see the movie, I just want you to know that it totally worked.
I know how to sell a movie.
Awesome. You play a character named Meredith Vickers. Can you give us any sense whatsoever of what this was like for you? Because just having seen your performance, I think it's unlike anything that you've ever done before. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, she's definitely, she's very different from anything I've done. She's a suit, essentially. She's kind of the machine that runs the machine that kind of takes this mission into space. And at first she kind of comes across like a suit, very cold and frigid, and it seems that it's all about the economics for her, and that she doesn't necessarily come from one side or the other. She's not a scientist, she's not a believer, and she runs a tight ship, but you can tell that she's somehow, that she's gonna be a problem. And then you later kind of, you know, the thing that I love about working with Ridley was that we had all kind of layered her, and given her this, you know, she's somewhat of an enigma. You think you know who she is because she comes across so strong as that suit, but then you realize that she's somewhat mysterious. And Ridley started doing this really interesting thing where he would just kind of have me stand in corners and kind of lurk all the time, and it became somewhat suspicious, and you were just like, well, you know, what is up with her? What is she really doing? But the real excitement for me in playing this character was that in the third act, you really kind of strip her from her skin, and you really see what her bones are about and what she's really doing there. And I'm not going to spoil that for you guys.
They like being spoiled. And speaking of Ridley, obviously the movie is still in production. You actually just got back from Iceland yourself. Ridley is currently in Iceland at this very moment. I think there's a map to basically sort of give us some sense of, okay, so we are A there. This is pretty high tech shit, guys. Thank you, Google. And over there at B, that's Iceland. That's where Ridley is. And then there's a second map to basically get to the location. If you guys could bring that up, fantastic. So you basically fly into Reykjavik, and then you have to take a chopper to Garganor. I believe is in Middle Earth somewhere. And then I think you have to hike with like a bunch of natives. Yeah, sure, to D, which is where Ridley is and why he could not be with us today. You know, because we're in San Diego. It
is actually very complicated. I just came back on Monday, and it's a place called Hela. It says it all. In saying all of that, I do think that it's bullshit. I think, you know, it's a chopper and 7 flights. Really should have been here. I mean, I don't want to, like, look, I would never say that if he was here. I'd be too scared, but I think he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Sir Ridley Scott.
Ridley, hello from San Diego.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello, old boy. I feel like actually a man I admire tremendously called David Attenborough, and I'm about to introduce a wildlife program over here. Anyway, I'm standing in Iceland right now in a place called, actually this is a very beautiful, spectacular waterfall called Dettifoss. You can't see it from here, but when you get over there, you get a full sense of the scale. And ironically, my last day of shooting completes the beginning of the film. Did you get that? Or I said that the wrong way around. But anyway, the beginning of the film will be from this place, and that happens to be the last day of shooting.
Ridley, it's been 25 years since you directed a science fiction film, Blade Runner. Maybe a couple of people here have heard of that movie. Why did it take you so long to come back?
Because I was actually too busy doing other movies and exploring other genres. So frankly, I never actually thought about science fiction until I started to realize that actually there was something in the first Aliens that no one had ever asked the question about. And in the next 3 Aliens, still no exploration of that one big question. And I thought, well, that could be the centerpiece of what we've just completed. That said, that is about the only DNA loosely applied to the original Alien. We've gone in another complete different direction, but in the last few minutes of the movie, you'll actually understand what I'm talking about.
I certainly hope so. CG, computer-generated...
so do I, so do Fox.
CG has really been a big part of movies as of late, big event movies. And I think that what you're doing, first in Pinewood and now in Iceland, first off, you're shooting this film in 3D. And secondly, you're not doing it with a lot of CG. You're actually building these sets. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you made those decisions and what it's been like for you shooting in 3D?
Well, 3D has been a wonderful exercise, but you know, I was brought up as a camera operator, so it's really about lensing and all that kind of stuff. So, with the help I've had with a wonderful cameraman Darius and his technical team, it's been for me a pretty straightforward ride. That said, I'll never work without 3D again, even for small dialogue scenes. I love the whole process. I love it. You know, 3D. Opens up the universe of even a small dialogue scene. So I've been very impressed with that. There's the actual effects thing. A great visual effects man who I did Blade Runner with, called Doug Trumbull, once said to me, if you can do it live, do it live. He said, it's always better than anything else. That was like 28, 29 years ago. And even though we've got marvelous digital capabilities today, I would still say if you can do it live, do it live. First of all, it's cheaper. It is not less expensive to do digital.
Ridley, are you a replicant? And if not, why did you leave origami shit on my chair all the time?
I thought you were a fucking robot, actually. And I thought, you know, robots need to have origami to get their fucking heart started.
Speaking of robots, there is a rumor about this movie that there is a robot in Prometheus. Is this accurate? Will you confirm that here for us today?
There may be two. Maybe two.
Ooh, snap.
You know, I think robots and androids and replicants have actually become so much part of the actual science fiction scenario and landscape that they're no longer unique. So what you've got to come up with, like in all challenges, whether you're writing a book or whether you're doing a movie or whether you're doing an opera, you've got to come up with those unique notions that make something fresh. And I think this film I've honestly had a better time with than many years. And partly because I've felt secure in having a terrific script from you. And that said, I want you to do the next one immediately. That's the only reason why I'm buttering you up, you creep, okay? Right. And also, the reason why the film actually has been a good time for me is I've worked with, the cast I've worked with on this particular film has been as good a time as I can remember. So that's two good reasons to keep going.
I just want to state for the record that Ridley Scott just busted my balls in front of 6,500 people. So that's a dream come true. Ridley, I'd like to ask you about this incredible cast that you put together, one of whom is sitting next to me right now, Charlize Theron. Can you just talk about the amazing actors that,
Yes.
that are there with you?